Now, let's get into the meaty part. Now it's time for the dungeon debate.
I wouldn't say it's the meaty part.
Well, it's like the
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like the dessert. Everyone likes when people scream at each other. Human nature. Well, this one's quite interesting because you need both of them. But generally, what do most players want? I don't know if you do. Yes.
Okay, so the dungeon debate is role-playing versus role-playing. I'll be defending role-playing, and Ethan will be defending role-playing. Ethan, I think role-playing is stupid, and I think role-playing is a lot better.
Excuse me. I think role-playing is role-playing is stupid, and role-playing is amazing.
Anyway, so what... that was a funny little joke there that hopefully made you laugh. But
it did.
On a serious note, we are debating whether role-playing, LE, is better than or worse than role-playing, LL.
You never rolled in your life like a little front roll? That's what we're talking about.
So I will be defending role-playing LE.
And I will be defending role-playing LL.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you're thinking, how could anyone be defending role-playing LL? I'm on the same board as you. That makes no sense to me.
Well, no. Well, first of all, this debate's about which parts do people like more?
Well, so which one's better?
No. You need both.
All right, well, go ahead. You have, I think, a much more difficult side here, but you chose it, so...
Hey, I didn't choose it. You forced it down my throat.
That didn't happen.
It did happen.
You completely chose this side, so go ahead.
So basically... Sorry about that. The main part is you need it in the game. It's very important because you can't roleplay. I stabbed you, and then the other person's like, "No, you didn't." And then, "Yes, I did." So it's a very vital point of D&D, which is why it's very nice.
Okay.
Other things, you can use it in a bajillion ways. Number and math is good. Makes world better. I spoke like a caveman. I don't know why, but yeah. So basically,
only a caveman.
It breaks the game. Point. It makes the game good, and it makes it a game.
Did you say it breaks the game?
It breaks the game.
Why would you want something that breaks the game?
It just shows how much power it holds.
It breaks the game. What are you talking about?
It shows how much
role-playing LL does not break the game.
Yeah, it does.
What does that mean?
There's a spell that you need a certain amount of these die, and you roll that many, and you get the max. And then that person, just combusts, explodes.
That doesn't make any sense. No, role-playing... Why don't you tell us what role-playing is? ROLL playing. What is that?
So it's basically using the dice.
Yes.
Right.
Using the dice. Rolling a dice.
Yes, rolling a dice. So basically what I'm saying is it makes the game an actual game. And it brings...
Which doesn't break it. It creates it.
Well...
I don't know why I'm arguing your side, but I don't think that makes any sense.
What I'm saying is when it can break it and create it. Because when it just has so much power, it's such a vital part. It can.
You're saying it breaks the game if it doesn't exist?
Sort of.
How can it break the game?
You need it to break the game. If that makes sense.
I don't break. What is an example of breaking the game? What does that mean? What does it mean to break Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, this is kind of one of the faulty parts of 5th edition, sadly. 5th edition is very, it draws tears because people can abuse the game very harshly. And as a DM, I sat there, I made my boss, and then the boss just becomes dust.
You're saying atoms. They just played the game well.
Sort of, but that stuff is not supposed to happen. What
do you mean? Of course it can happen.
It can.
You're saying that your PCs beat your villain? That's it? That's not breaking the game.
No, but imagine you should not have people that are level 5 going up against things that are level 15, if that makes sense. That are CR 15.
Why were they able to beat them? Did you give them ridiculous magic items like usual?
No.
Ethan's way too generous.
I've been working on that. It's freaking sweet. It's awesome. But basically it's I forget. He's just so good at it. He just makes every game just a piece of cake. But it's it's the stuff certain spells that you get, and you're go with the paladin road.
He optimizes his characters.
Basically,
well. He's a power gamer.
He's able to choose the most amount of role-playing LL the highest of its capability.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And
that's what I meant by breaking the game.
Okay,
physically,
so
just
an amazing role player, LL, is what he is, right?
Basically, you're a god at the game.
And I think that is bad, typically. I don't think people like playing with those people.
Well,
and I think that's against your argument. No one likes to play with great role LL players. People like to play with great role LE players. Because that's what the game's really about. It's about role-playing. And in my opinion, your version of role-playing is just the practical stuff we need for this game to have some structure to it. But we're all here to role-play my version, to LE role-play. That's kind of what the point of the game is. And so the more we can minimize your version and maximize my version, the more and better Dungeons & Dragons feels.
Well, but most people don't. I mean, not most people, but not everyone likes the LE type of role-playing. You know,
That's true.
There are, like, the shyer people. So we're basically talking, do you like role-playing or do you like the tactical, not really strategy, but yeah, I guess strategy of D&D, you know, like, so basically the LL is combat, but you can't really have combat without the LL, but it wouldn't be good combat.
Well, you kind of can, as long as you have a dungeon master, because your dungeon master can just keep it going. I mean, I agree, you need some sort of level of role playing, but I think players that are not interested in LE role playing are not interested in playing Dungeons & Dragons, because Dungeons & Dragons is a role-playing game. And by role-playing, it's LE role-playing game. It's explicitly an RPG. That's what that means. And it's a storytelling game. And when you read a story or watch a story, what makes it a story is really the emotions of the story. That's what makes it a good story. And it's not literally what happened. So it's not like, oh, Legolas rolled a 20. Okay, Gimli just rolled a 15. All right. It's about the emotions under these events.
But those roles influence the role-playing of the game. If you don't have the LL of the game, then the role-playing is, like, it doesn't give you, like, it just doesn't direct the game in any direction. Like, anything could happen if you don't have the LL. But, yes. So using the dice, helps you influence the LE. When you get the 20, you roleplay, you shot the arrow through the dragon's eyeball, and goes to the brain.
I get it. It's way more subjective and just not. It's not.
It kind of influences all these awesome moments that if you didn't have it, it would.
Yes, but I think those awesome moments are only awesome because you can roleplay through them. Also, clearly both of these are necessary for the game.
Very.
It's just which one is better or more fun, and it's LE role playing. That's the more fun version. The dice, I agree, are necessary, so is my version of role playing, but those are not what people come to the table most of the time, at least, to play to do.
Well, I mean, you'll be surprised about the percentage that do go for the LL. But what another thing it brings up is the parts of luck. So it's kind of like gambling in a way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because there is a little gambling drive, as all humans are they're influenced by gambling. So it actually does influence people to play D&D sometimes because of the luck aspect. Because if you don't,
it's addictive.
Yeah, it's addictive. Also, the dice are freaking amazing. People hoard those things. That's a big part of D&D is who has the better dice or who has the most.
It's a collecting.
Yeah. Also, it's a collecting thing, But basically, it's really dependent. Most people, D&D is a role-playing game with LE. So yeah, but if you don't have the LL, it's just it's a big sad, But that's basically you're just acting and you're drama.
I think there's a reason.
Not everyone wants to be in drama. There are really good parts of the LL that make the LL stand out more sometimes than the LE.
I can also see people being they like the strategy of the LL role playing.
I mean, that was old Dungeons and Dragons was strategy. 5th edition is really the birth of the storytelling.
Okay.
That they put a lot of time, Dungeons and Dragons
before.
I mean, that's why 5th edition's so good compared to 4th was awful.
I feel like you're supporting my side and I just supported yours. Okay, well, I will say in the very least, You've definitely supported your side well. You've made role playing seem attractive, but I in the end I do think the fun parts and the memorable parts of role playing are those times when you just really vibe with everyone around you and you're just immersed in the world and really able to role play through it.
I mean, it is sweet when that person pulls out the Scottish accent and you're just like,
yes,
brings
it is.
Tears. Yes, but like,
but it doesn't even need to be accented or even very high level role playing. But role playing is literally like you're talking to someone in this world and getting information from them, and that's it. That's like the base fun of role playing.
I mean, I think the LE role playing is generally targeted towards the more experienced and the more courageous, or the braver players of D&D. Because when new players, like when I started, I was not like acting out. I was like, I just want to,
You weren't used to role playing.
Exactly, but
role playing games.
I feel like once you start out, the LL is more fun because like not most people aren't role player, like RPG role players, and that's why RPG games are like so good. It's like Skyrim, Prince of Persia, movie, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but if you look at D&D, you can do anything you want. The DM controls the world. Anything can happen. So there's no skill really, and I mean there is a little bit, I guess, but it's not about what can I accomplish in this D&D game. It's not like, look how much damage I dealt, or look how much gold I got.
I mean, some people
of that can happen anytime, right? Anyone can do that. So what it's about is just the experience of playing, and that's when role playing comes in.
Right.
It's that fun experience.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we should leave it up to the viewers.
I think we should.
What do you guys think? Do dice or do words?
Yes. Do they what?
Do
they make the game the amazing game
fun.
that it is?
Yes, my brain is melting.
All right.
Goodbye. Peace out. We will see you later on the Albert Bros podcast.